An idyllic scene at a Cornish holiday resort on a summer's day. Yet this could be the place that holds the answer to one of nature's greatest mysteries. Because just a few hundred yards offshore, the second biggest shark in the ocean is following a migration pattern as old as time itself. Basking shark are gigantic prehistoric ocean wanderers. Early every summer, they surface in the shallow coastal waters of the North Atlantic. Towards the end of the summer, they disappear just as mysteriously. We know little about them. We don't even know where they come from or where they go. Based at the Marine Biological Association in Plymouth, this is the man who has set out to decipher this primeval mystery. And he's planning to do it by using email. Billions of us communicate by email every day, but David Sim's goal is to receive one of the strangest emails ever sent. An email from a shark that will tell him where it's been and how it's spending its winter. These huge creatures appear with the coming of summer and disappear just as dramatically. They are gentle giants, longer than a bus, heavier than several motor cars, yet there is not a single record of them ever having done harm to man. But though it's the second biggest fish on the planet, the basking shark is also one of the least known fish in the ocean. So where do they come from, and to where do they disappear? It's a mystery that has intrigued science, but to which there has been no answer. The most widely accepted theory of where the shark go in winter is that they dive to the cold ocean depths, where their metabolism slows right down and they effectively hibernate, surviving on the reserves from their summer's feeding. There's some evidence to support this theory, as the occasional shark caught or washed ashore in the winter appeared to have shed their gill rakers, the mechanism by which they filter plankton from the water. So how will David get an email solving the mystery? It's not as crazy as it sounds. Here's how it'll work, in theory. Specially designed electronic tags will be attached to the shark at sea off the west coast of Britain. When released months later, somewhere in the North Atlantic, the tags will surface and transmit data to a satellite, which transmits onward to an Earth station, where the data is downloaded and sent on by email to David for him to interpret. Quite simply, the shark will send David an email that contains the solution to this natural mystery. An email from a shark, which when deciphered, will track where and how deep the shark has been throughout the winter months.
Okay, this is a pop-up archival transmitting tag, and it consists essentially of a mini computer, which acts as a data logger, and some buoyancy so that it will float, and also the antenna, which will enable signals, data to be transmitted to satellites. The three sensors: depth, light and temperature. We've got to get the tag onto the shark so that then the tag will start recording the parameters which are related to the shark's movements. We get the tags onto the sharks by firing the tag through the fin, and then the tag will then just float free close to the body of the shark, but behind it.
It's very nearly too late to solve the mystery, as basking shark are threatened with extinction. Their regular migration routes have long been known to fishermen, and until recently, they were fished for the oil from their colossal livers. Today, basking shark are pursued for another part of their anatomy, their fins. This shark was not the victim of fin fishermen. It had the misfortune to become tangled in fishing lines. And to save his pots, the fisherman hacked off the shark's tail, leaving it to die. Shark are more susceptible to overfishing than most fish, with a gestation period of up to 3 years before they give birth to just a couple of pups, which themselves take many years to achieve sexual maturity. Many shark populations around the world are on the verge of collapse, with some species of shark being on the brink of extinction. This is why filling the black hole of human ignorance of basking shark is essential to ensure their survival as a species. David Sims is not the only person trying to solve the mystery of the basking shark. Colin Speedy is involved in a 3-year project to identify basking shark by their fin shapes. With a crew of enthusiastic volunteers, he sails survey patterns off the coast, charting not only sightings, but all other conditions relevant to building a picture of the shark's movements.
We don't even know how many there are. We don't know whether the animals that we see return year in, year out to the same area, or whether they're part of a larger population which maybe moves around over a greater area, perhaps down into France or into Ireland.
And when a shark is sighted, the fin is photographed for later comparison with the database.
So we've got quite a variety here of interesting pictures. These are some of the ones from the first survey, and what's interesting here is that we've got quite a variety of different fin shapes. We've got some injuries as well, and we've even got some useful behaviour pictures here. We are actually seeing quite a number of sharks now which we recognise year in, year out. So the more of those that we see, the more convincing it becomes that actually we're looking at local populations.
Okay, in this research we're using different satellite nets to obtain information, firstly with this image, which is sea surface temperature, the red areas being warm, the blue areas being cold. This helps us to locate the areas where sharks might be feeding along these boundaries between different water temperatures.
But even with the help of science and perfect weather, it's still not easy to find a shark. Basking shark feed only on plankton, so there is no way of luring them to you. You have to actually find them. And if they're feeding even just a few feet below the surface, then that becomes impossible. Only the telltale fin on the surface locates the shark. Though in past years large numbers of the shark have arrived off Plymouth, this year draws a blank. Days of searching but not a single sighting takes its toll on boat crew and film crew alike.
Asleep on duty, and is a court-martialling offence. Keel hauling. Prod him with something. If he was working for me, I'd make him walk the plank. There's one. Right there. Right, Al, just here.
It takes two people and teamwork to deploy the tag.
Don't panic, don't you get your knickers in a twist.
It's all very well.
One actually fires the harpoon. The other makes sure that the line attached to the tag runs freely. Not always easy on the narrow bow of a boat at sea.
Okay, it's still there, straight ahead. Can you come forward a bit more? No, he's down, he's down. He's down. Okay, hold on. It's gone down.
Glory, you must be scared too quick, double.
Tantalisingly close.
The team also regularly takes samples of plankton levels.
How's it looking?
Yeah, good. They're exactly the sort of zooplankton that we would expect for sort of shark feeding areas. Large calanoid copepods, these crustaceans. There's not that many of them, which could explain why the animals aren't at the surface.
It's crunch time for David. It's already getting late in the basking shark season, and he has 10 tags worth £30,000 that need to be attached to shark. Otherwise, they'll gather dust on his shelf until next year, instead of gathering valuable information on shark in the open ocean. The pressure is on. There's no better place in the world to find basking shark, which is why both Colin and David's research projects are focused on this narrow, rocky peninsula jutting out into the North Atlantic. But even here, there's still an element of chance in finding the shark. And while David's not yet got lucky, our film crew off the furthest west of Cornwall have had more success. This year, the ocean currents and fronts have resulted in the plankton blooming off North and West Cornwall, rather than the south coast, and the giants have roamed in to graze upon it. The boat here is 5 metres long, and the spotter clinging to it is a 2 metre tall man. Basking shark are not the only ocean wanderers that feed on the plankton bloom. The shark's arrival is usually heralded by huge plankton-eating jellyfish drifting with the currents. And some of these jellyfish have their own hitchhikers, small fish sheltering in the protection of the jellyfish's tentacles. So David relocates his tagging project to the very west of Cornwall. This year he's already spent weeks off the coast of Scotland, another basking shark hotspot, in addition to his days off Plymouth, but with absolutely no success. This is his last chance. If his research project is to have any chance of solving the mystery, he must get all his tags attached to shark during the remaining few days of early summer when they're still around. The pressure is now on to find and tag shark before they disappear again till the following year.
Yeah, that's definitely a shark.
Oh, crikey, it's big.
That's huge. Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. Just over there. Man, he is huge.
Yeah.
Sorry, we just hit the swell. It's okay. He was just diving away, and I could have gone for it, but
Yeah.
It's big.
So you're still ready to shoot, are you?
yeah,
Okay.
still ready. Yes, got it. Yes, that's it. Well done. Well done.
Oh God!
That's excellent.
I saw it as well. Did you get it on camera?
Well done, everyone. Well done.
There he is.
The tag was just beautifully placed, just streaming behind him. That's excellent.
It's getting so scary. 'Cause you can
Excellent.
see the bottom. I was thinking, oh God.
We're only in about what?
3 metres, we better get out.
Yeah, we better get out of here. So yeah, it is a special thing to tag it. But yeah, that shark, I mean, I was quite impressed with its response there. I mean, we tagged it and it just took a few seconds for the shark to then flip its tail a couple of times, quite hard, and then just swim off. I mean, it wasn't in distress, I didn't think.
We've just tagged a shark, a 6-metre shark, with tags
Success at last.
on location.
Over the next 2 days, David succeeds in deploying his remaining 10 tags. During the coming year, they'll release from the sharks at varying times and continue filling in the jigsaw of the life of the basking shark.
Yes, got it. Yep, got it. There it is. Yeah, you can see the tag there, the white.
How long was that tether?
That tether was 2 metres,
The shark was a blur to me.
and it was halfway between the first dorsal and the tail. So, you know, that's going to be a 6 metre, 6.5, 7 metre fish. That's neat.
And with the tags in place, the nerve-wracking wait now starts. Will the tags work? As there's just so much that can go wrong. Will the tags survive in the extremes of a hostile marine environment? And if so, what will they reveal? Back at the Marine Biological Association, all David can now do is wait and hope.
Good grief, how old is this?
Little more is known now about the basking shark than was known 2 centuries ago. But all that's about to change. David is hoping that any day now, the first of a series of emails will arrive with the answer to the questions that have intrigued scientists for so long. At last, the weeks and months of waiting are over. David gets his first emails, and they have thrown up a totally unexpected and unforeseen result. These emails from the shark he's tagged will overturn prevailing theories, opening a window into the life of one of the ocean's most mysterious creatures.
We think we've solved one of the great wildlife mysteries, one that's been around for decades. Where do basking sharks go and what do they do? The basking shark isn't just a basking shark. It's also a diving shark. It dives frequently to very deep depths. To give you an idea of the sorts of depths that we've tracked the sharks down to, one shark, for instance, during summer, was regularly diving to 450 meters depth, but making frequent searches through the water column for necessarily trails that may lead them to that zooplankton prey. Another shark actually tagged off Plymouth, swam out to the shelf edge where it was feeding, and remained there until November. And this shark did some incredible dives. This shark, over a period of 6 hours, dived from the surface to over 750 meters, possibly down to 1,000 meters depth. Now that, over that time scale of hours, is the broadest vertical foraging range of any shark. The basking shark currently holds the diving record.
But the main aim of the research is to solve one of the great wildlife mysteries, to discover where the shark go when they disappear from sight every summer. So, do they actually sink deep into the ocean abyss to hibernate?
Our data shows clearly that hibernation doesn't occur in basking sharks. All the basking sharks that we've tracked during the winter have remained on the continental shelf. They haven't gone into deep water at any time during winter, other than to exhibit some very deep diving, necessarily on the shelf edge.
And having discovered that basking shark feed throughout the whole of the year on zooplankton, wherever they may find it, another amazing fact has been discovered about the basking shark. Tracking concentrations of plankton, they undertake massive solitary journeys.
In 10 days, one of the sharks travelled 500 kilometres, so they're clearly making a directed movement to the shelf edge. Yet one of the sharks, a 4.5 metre subadult, moved 1,900 kilometres in 76 days, tracking the plankton along the shelf edge, travelling north from the English Channel to Scotland. An incredible journey over such a short time.
Yet although they roam over vast distances to identify the highest concentrations of plankton, the final surprise for the scientists is that throughout the whole of the year, whether grazing at the surface or in the oceanic deeps, none of the shark tagged to date has left the seas surrounding Great Britain.
The sharks during winter are ranging probably out to 500 miles from the UK coast. But then as winter progresses, they're moving back into coastal inshore areas, not more than 50 to 100 miles from the coastline. All the sharks that we've tagged and the tags have popped up during winter have been within 50 or so miles of the UK coast, primarily in the south. Our results tell us that basking sharks are truly British sharks and not just seasonal migrators into the inshore areas around the UK and Ireland. But although we've tagged basking sharks and shown their incredible journeys and their overwintering behaviour, there's so much more still to learn. We've got tags out there at this moment, logging data on sharks that are travelling through the sea. So only when we gain more data can we possibly learn the true life history, lifestyle of the basking shark. I'm sure that it still holds many, many more mysteries. When you manage to tag a shark with one of these transmitters, the frustration and the emotion all tied up with, can we achieve our project objectives? Are we going to succeed? All that drains away and you're left with the feeling of exhilaration, excitement, and also of wonder, in as much that you've you've tagged an animal which you're then going to find something amazing about. You're going to find out where it goes and what it does. And it's that sort of detective work, sort of snooping, if you like, on these animals that perhaps is one of the greatest sort of bonuses of doing the work. Seeing them's one thing, which is great, but actually finding out what they're doing, that's really what we're interested in.